Hi, and welcome, everybody. It's so nice to be with you again for the latest episode of Get on the Grid with Chessie Roberts. My guest tonight is Alma Phillips, and she and I would like for you to join us in aligning with the energies of co-creation so that this show gives you the best information to your highest good and best outcome. Welcome, Alma. It's nice to have you here.
Great to be here.
Cool. For those of you who don't know Alma, she is new to the show, so I'm going to give a quick introduction. She's an ordained minister of Peace Community Church, a partner in the Elements of Light Self-Discovery Center in Hampton, Virginia, and an instructor for the American Leadership College. She's an amazing channel who has completed her life task this lifetime and now focuses on enabling others in creating a two-way communication with their personal team of angels. Alma, that all sounds very fascinating, but I'm going to ask you right off the bat if you would please explain what a life task is for those of us who don't know.
My understanding of a life task is that it's an area, lesson, or a concept that we need understanding in. I've been on this earth thousands of lifetimes, and I have worked on many, many tasks for understanding and experience, and every lifetime that we come here, we have a specific one that we're really trying to master. So that's how I would describe it.
Cool. How do you figure out what that life task is? I know there's a lot of searching going on, especially right now. People are trying to figure out why we're here and what we're supposed to be doing and all that kind of stuff. Do you have any clear-cut signs for how you find this life task?
Well, yes, I do. Actually, one of the things I wanted to talk about today, and we'll get to a little bit later, is your spiritual life thrust. And it's really an explanation of the essence of the universe that you are. And through a process of channel and working with your guides and angels, you can get a clear picture of just exactly what it is you're working on this lifetime and how to go about achieving that. So I would like to share much more on that as we move forward.
I would like for you to share much more on that as we move forward. And you can start right now as far as I'm concerned.
With the Americana Leadership College, we have a series of profiles or consultation type formats that we work through. The number one thing we do is get you connected to your guides and angels. Actually, I believe, Chessie, that in the past you actually had that profile and started to work with your whole team. Is that how I remember it? Is that right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I did, and it's amazing, people, if you haven't done this or you're searching or seeking or you think you even maybe know, going through this profile that she's talking about is a great help, and it will open your eyes to a lot of things that you maybe hadn't thought about.
Yeah, when I first met you, Chessie, you were sure that you had a guide or an angel with you and that you were working with them very well and really enjoying that interaction, that communication with the beyond the veil. And I think when I came along and suggested you might have more than one, you were like, really? And so then when we find out that you have a whole team. We each have a whole team of angels that came specifically to this lifetime with us to work on what we came to do. That really broadened your picture. I know it broadened mine when I found out.
Yeah, me too, because you don't have just that one entity, if you'll excuse the expression, I don't know what else to call it, energy, guide, whatever you want to refer to this wonderful guardian angel, I'll say. But having a team of them, they just cover all your bases, and that's just absolutely fabulous in my opinion.
Right. So one of the things that I specialize in and focus my energy on is working with people to introduce them to this team of angels and to show them one system that they can use to begin a two-way communication. Now, this is a profound experience for most people to really be able to say, hey, I need some help in this, some insight in this, show me how this works, or give me something I can work with here, and getting answers back, clear, concise answers back of what I can do moving forward. That is probably one of the biggest changes and experiences that I've had in my lifetime, this lifetime. gives me a lot of self-confidence. Go ahead.
I was going to say, let me ask a question right here. As you work with your team and these answers become clearer and clearer, what happens when you hit a spell, and the reason I'm asking this is because it's happened to me, where you don't seem to be getting any response from them at all, or the answers coming through muddled?
Well, I think that there's several things that can happen or occur in your life. One might be, I know myself, I'm a great pusher. I'm always in a hurry and wanting to get there in today. And so impatience can be something that I can struggle with. Sometimes the answers just aren't there at that time. I often set some things in motion. I tell the universe what I want, what I desire, and when and why I want it, and get a clear motive for this goal that I'm setting. And then it might feel to me like nothing is happening. I'm not getting any answers, not getting any instructions. I've come to learn that the universe is working on that, and as soon as there's something for me to do or something I need to know, they'll let me know. And all the badgering I want to do sometimes with my angels doesn't really help. In fact, it usually is a sign that I'm kind of cranked up, not very relaxed. You can probably relate to this.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I just saw this morning on Facebook, which is always interesting. Lots of positive people on Facebook, though. And they were saying the biggest problem we have is that conversation in our mind, the things I work over and worry about. So I will say that working with my guides and angels probably, I was just regrouping this recently, probably eliminated worry, fretting, and that inner dialogue by like 80%. And I was wondering the other day, what do I think about now that I don't worry? Because I used to be obsessed with worry.
Mm-hmm.
So,
can I ask
interesting.
you a little bit closer to your microphone? You're kind of fading in and out. I don't want anybody to miss any of this.
Okay.
I think that patience thing is something we all have to deal with, and I think it's probably one of the most difficult, and I always tell my students and clients that, it's as hard as you want it to be. But knowing that and dealing with it are kind of two separate issues, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it really takes us back to the basics, though. The truth is that Earth time is not universal time. I'm a soul. I'm a soul in the universe. I have been here, and each of us have been here from the beginning of infinity, whatever that is. In the original creation, we all appeared the essence of the universe that we are. And when we operate from that big picture and we look at this little blip of time we spend on the Earth, and how involved I get in this little thing called time, which is only an Earth concept. It's ludicrous when I really step back, when I go out into the universe, look at the Earth, and go, hey, I'm a soul. I'm a free spirit, just having a great time, hanging out on planet Earth. When I get that perspective, then time no longer owns me.
I hear you, and I totally agree, because I have to do the same thing. I think it was Gandalf that said he's a wizard and he gets where he needs to be, not too early, not too late, but right on time. And that kind of puts all of that in perspective for me, because, like you said, it is a human construct. I don't think anything else on the planet worries about it, do they?
You mean like I can't see as my cat does as she sleeps through another deer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never does it, like they try to check the clock or anything, any of our pets or animals. So, yeah, we're the only ones who put this little, in fact, I can actually see one from my desk right now, and there's this clock facing me. And what a bizarre idea that this should have such a powerful position and a powerful influence over who I truly am. Time works great to motivate us and to give us, because action, that's one of the things I've learned, is that action is really important, to be doing something to occupy me that I enjoy, that involves me, gets me interacting with the universe So that's the clock works great for that, but as far as what I'm manifesting, what I'm achieving, what I'm experiencing, and my true purpose on earth, that clock isn't relevant.
That's a good point. What kind of actions do you entertain while you're being in action?
Oh, anything. Just having it's a momentum thing. When I sit dormant, doing nothing idly, which there's a place and a time for that. There certainly is. But it's kind of, what is it? The idle mind is the devil's workshop, is the old expression. Mm-hmm. So just moving into action, because I am a dynamic energy, that being in action makes it easy for me to change and morph and grow and to move into new thought, new ideas, and new areas.
I have found that when we're in that stasis where we aren't mentally in action, like meditating or creating or something in this mindful state, that's when that ego mind jumps up and starts chattering at you and running all your old tapes. Is that true for everybody, or is that just me?
So you're saying if you're just kind of walking around hanging out that you have a tendency to get into a mental chatter situation?
Yeah, if I'm not mentally actively pursuing something that lifts me up and focuses me forward, that's when that ego mind steps in and starts coming up with all these reasons why I shouldn't be going here or doing that, or reasons why I can't accomplish something that I feel like I want to, that sort of thing. I think it's the battle all of us fight every day, is it not?
Well, yes and no. I remember years ago, one of my mentors used to say, yes if you understand and no if you don't. And I used to think, what? My perspective on that 10 years ago or even 5 years ago and what it is now are profoundly different for me. Yes, I know what you mean. I could take a thought and worry it to death. But I think now I spend more time on it. What do I do differently now? Because I don't have that problem like I used to. Now I kind of set my energy every day, or I have a task that I am, quote, working on, or no, I would say more like this, that I have set in motion in my mind, and that task runs kind of on its own and manifests, gives me inspiration and creativity. It's true thought. We think, but we don't really think. And you just mentioned these old tapes running. Inspiration and true thought come from the universe. It's not even, it's not our physical bodies that think. We just reprocess old experiences, kind of like an old computer. What you put in it keeps spitting out. But when I move to the divine consciousness, when I open my awareness to the universe, that is true inspiration and thought and creativity.
Well said. Thank you. I feel like that this particular topic is something that a lot of people struggle with because they think, and there's that word again, that these old tapes are their true thoughts. And that's why I brought it up, because like you, I have begun that transition from running the old tapes to setting my intention and setting my energy for the day and moving in a positive direction. And when that old stuff comes up, which it does, I mean, my biology gets in the way sometimes, and that happens, but knowing what it was that you just explained to everybody, and you did it so eloquently, I don't want to try to restate it, but once you realize that that's what's happening, you can absolutely turn that around, and you can do it rather quickly, can you not?
You can, and the simplest thing sometimes can be, right now today I could say, I no longer want to have this thought. For instance, I no longer want to say or express or put out the vibration of, I don't have enough money. So today I'm going to create a new mantra, and my new mantra is I always have all the money I need for everything I want. So having made that decision today, now going forward, anytime I feel that vibration of I don't have enough money, or it starts to come out of my mouth, or I feel that thought moving through my mind, I can stop it and go, oh, we're not running that one anymore. And I have the new tape to slide in. It's, just that's kind of a discipline or rearranging, realigning my concepts and my thoughts for what I know to be true.
And finding that realignment is very important. Finding that way that works for you in your conscious awareness is critical, isn't it?
It is. And it's not a perfect system. That's one of the great things about us, is that we are dynamic, changing, flexible. We have free will. We're very powerful. We're so many things that we don't even really acknowledge for ourselves or appreciate. So whatever works, and that it is that simple. I know 15 years ago I would have probably gone off on you if you told me that it was that easy. Just change your thought. I can remember actually just fussing at people going, change my thought. If it was that easy, don't you think I would have already done it? Now I'm just like, yeah, I need a new thought for that because that one's not really working for me.
And that's the cool thing about it. If something isn't working, change it. It's that, it's just almost hackneyed at this point, but insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. If you're not getting the results you want, change what you're thinking, change what you're doing, right?
Yeah. I had kind of a funny experience. Experiences often show me how much I've grown or how I have changed. I don't realize going along in life, and I don't think most of us do, how far we've come. I have come so far from 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But recently someone said to me, oh, I'm not being negative. I'm just being a realist. And I started laughing, and they said, why are you laughing? I said, 5 years ago, I would have got on that bus with you. And now, I'm sorry, honey, but I can't go there today. Really, my perspective has changed that much. Mm-hmm. This is the situation, I agree with you. Yes. The situation or the perimeters look like this. However, I don't have to keep them, not even for a moment. I can change them. I am that powerful. In fact, I was thinking this morning, there's an old story or can't think of the exact word, metaphor in the Sanskrit that talks about, and I don't have it in front of me. I was looking for it today. I wanted to share it, but I'll give you the essence of it was that this wind blows across the land all the time. And that there are people who walk against the wind saying, oh, how it hates me, how it, just makes me struggle. It's always against me. It's just the worst wind in the universe. And then there's the rest of the other half of the people who are walking with the wind. And they're saying, oh, my God, this is the most awesome wind. It helps me. It pushes me along, makes everything easier. Life is such a perspective. My perspective will create my reality. And nothing else can influence it. If that's what I believe, then, and that's the way I want to see it, then there's no one can change that for me.
I so agree with that. You told me a story one time a couple years back about an exercise that you did at one of the camps you went to with your, I can't think of the name of the college now. Please say it for me.
The Americana Leadership College. They're in Puerto Rico right now doing their international regrouping, so I'm missing out on that. But doing this with you is just great. That's
them that I'm talking about. You were telling me that one of the things you had to do was meditate sitting in the water. And you thought, oh, this is cool, this is going to be easy, and you got all into your meditative state. And I tell this story a whole lot on the show, just in case you don't know that. And the first wave came over and knocked you down or knocked you over. And you had to stop, pick yourself up, and start all over again. And that's what comes to my mind as we're talking about this. Because every time a wave comes through and knocks you down, you have the choice to either let it keep you down, make you mad so you do something silly, or regroup, regain your perspective, and keep going. And that little story right there has kept me focused better than just about anything I've ever run across. And I have a list of about 100 things that really influence my perspectives and my actions and my attitudes, and that's right up there in the top 10.
Oh, yeah, that was a great time. You know, because I had to admit to myself that I knew that the ocean didn't hate me. Wasn't out to get me. That those little waves coming into that bay really loved me and wanted me to have fun and were there for my enjoyment. And it was, from one moment to the next, I wanted to take it out against the ocean or blame the ocean against its waves, which it's just doing what it does naturally. And it's not personal. I don't need to take life personal.
Well, what I didn't say about the exercise is she had her eyes closed, listeners. She couldn't see the waves coming. And that's just such a great analogy for life, because a lot of times, even if we are consciously aware and we're still hooked into guidance and our angels and everything, sometimes things happen that we don't expect. But here's where the perspective comes in my opinion. If we are ready for blessings to come at us like these waves that we don't see, rather than trouble coming at us like these waves we don't see, what happens is when they do hit, we find the positive in them, the lesson in them, the blessing in them, and we're able to regain our balance and keep going.
Yeah, I think the key in some of that is staying relaxed.
I'm sorry?
Staying relaxed. It's just so important
yeah.
to be relaxed in life. You know, oh, wow, look, here comes a train. Isn't that cool? What a pretty train, you know. I don't have to get all, yeah, it's a train. The more I resist, one of the things I've been working on lately is a thought of when I close the door on something, I don't need to lean against the door to hold it shut. That I actually haven't really passed through a door if I'm still leaning against it. I'm still involved in that energy of of the past.
That's true. I call it grinding on something, and I have a tendency to have to work on that a lot because something will happen, and then I want to replay the scenario tape and see what I could have done better, how I should have handled it, maybe what would have been a higher vibrational move or thought. And then it occurs to me I'm still, like you just said, leaning on that door. It's done. It's over with. It's in the past. I can let it go. I don't have to hang on to it and dance with it anymore.
That's right. I sure don't.
What is it I always like to say? Not my circus, not my monkeys.
I love that. That is so true. Really,
yes.
I think that's one of the big keys that we well, let me just back up a little bit. As a spirit, a soul on this earth, I have every possible thing I could ever want. I have all the abundance of the universe, all the wisdom, knowledge, understanding, peace, joy, everything is mine because I'm the essence of this very universe. I'm the stardust. And so from that perspective, to just open myself up and quit beating myself up. Now, the biggest problem that I see me and other people fighting with is I don't know how to organize all of this power. I don't know what to do with it. Neil Donald Walsh says, too much greatness, too much responsibility. But I don't know what to do with it because I haven't really been taught in this society how to deal with this. What do I do? How do I handle this? How do I grow? How do I expand? How do I find peace? And so I really is fighting that. So once we start to organize ourselves, and one of the ways we can do this is to start working with that team of angels that we came to this earth with, to work specifically on what we came to do. And with that, then we can really start to get directed, focused, and with that will come also a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment because I'm doing what I came to this earth to do. And it's a simple thing, to feel in the flow of the universe, as if the wind is at our back, helping us along. We're in that river just floating downstream. So we have everything we need. We have no lack. We really just need to get connected and trust what we already know.
Sort of a don't ask how, just allow thing, yeah?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I wonder, I am someone who, and Chessie and I have known each other for a few years, but I have pushed and shoved and worked very hard and tried extremely hard and just overworked and overstressed and overworried and everything. And now I think, well, I could have gotten here with a whole lot less work. I could have just accepted this 20 years ago. I didn't have to do all that fighting to get here. It's not something I fight for. It's not something I have to do. It's really accepting myself for what I really am, which is a free spirit in the universe.
Well, in encapsulating what you just said, it's sort of once you become consciously aware of what's really going on, you create that connection and you can relax into it. It's the struggle is becoming consciously aware, right?
Yes, really. It's kind of deprogramming everything that we've been taught a lot of times. We're raised and we are surrounded by people and societies and things that tell us stuff that's in contradiction to our true essence. Like we're taught to be fearful of things. Well, our natural essence isn't. It's wonderment. Like we're just so impressed and amazed with the universe and the things around us. As a child, everything delights us, everything intrigues us, and then we're told, oh no, that's you should be afraid of that. Not to know what you're doing or what's going to happen next is a fearful situation. And now I'm like, yeah, I could have really done better without some of that training.
Yeah, really. Well, somebody quoted something from the Bible the other day, and I'm paraphrasing, but it was about when I was a child, I spake as a child, I thought as a child, I acted as a child, but now that I've grown, I've put away all these childish things. And what I have discovered is the one, and I'm not going to call it childish, but childlike thing that I think we so need to hold on to is that concept of wonder, that amazement at everything. I think we become jaded at a young age about things going on around us. Yeah, there's no magic in the seasons. The trees change color, big deal. To me, in my own little pumpkin head here, watching the leaves change color is a magic beyond speaking. The beauty is tremendous. And being in all of that, I enjoy the changing seasons. Trees are naked. I see beauty in their bare branches. But that, I think, is me connecting back to that childhood wonder and awe. And it keeps the world fresh. What do you think?
Well, I feel that the earth around us, like the trees, talking about the trees turning, they're showing me every day how the universe works. Mm-hmm. That there are times of new growth, there are times of recharging, there's times of maturity, of maturing into new things in our lives, and then once that's complete, like letting kind of go and then regrouping ourselves, starting off on a new adventure. It's the whole world is trying to show me that this is how easy it is. And instead of appreciating the ease and going, oh, wow, I'll just be like a tree, I'm thinking I got to recreate the universe, a whole new system of development and finding my way home. And the truth is, just like the tree, I'm going home in the end anyway. We're all going home no matter what we do, no matter what road we go down. That is not the point. The point is how I feel about all of these experiences and how much I can appreciate it. Yesterday someone said, well, I need to be grateful. And I was thinking a little bit to myself, I'm not sure it's gratitude we need. Maybe it's more of appreciation for the powerful beings that we are. Appreciation for how I can manifest.
Appreciate and gratitude are not the same thing. And I was very surprised to find this out. But I think appreciation just kind of tacks the nail on the head there. Because in appreciation, you're open to all of this. Gratitude implies a struggle, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's something about gratitude that almost says I'm an unworthy being, and oh, thank you, God, for bringing that to me. Kind of a feel to it. And I never had that thought before. It was just, like I say, the last 2 days that thought has come. And my guidance, every day I get a key word, and I work with keywords and key sentences and so forth during the week. But I have been getting appreciate. And I'm like, what do I need to appreciate? And I said, how far you've come, how much you have. Appreciate, where were you 5 years ago, Alma? Where were you 10 years ago? Or how many fears did you used to have, and now you got none? Appreciate this.
Well, I have, in my paradigm and in my changing and growing, one of the things I found out that the fear that we have about doing anything, facing stuff, doing things that we are not familiar with, read that as me in technology, it's only the fear of anticipation. It's like going to the dentist or going to the doctor. But once the event is behind us, we say, gosh, that wasn't as bad as I expected it would be. So what I've had to do is to face my stuff and watch it become manageable, or it disappears altogether. And that's all from listening to my guidance, connecting with my guidance, and doing everything that I learned from you and others, and appreciating that.
Yeah. Even this whole idea, you just expressed something. You said, anticipating something coming up, how we anticipate things and become fearful. Well, who taught that idea to us? Because as a spirit, as a spirit in the universe, I love change. I love new things. I love growth and expansive. As a child, something new shows up, a new toy shows up, you're like, yes, or any other event. That's a concept we've learned, to dread change, dread the future, dread new experiences, new beginnings, new ends, whatever it is. We learned that from someone.
That comfort zone really gets comfortable, doesn't it? But it also makes us stagnate if we stay there too long.
Right. Yeah, there's so much stuff to do here on this earth, so many things to experience. I wonder, how am I going to get it all done? But I've had so many experiences. You know that I strongly believe that I've been on this earth many times before in past lives, and that all of those we bring with us, and we have experiences and memories that influence our life today. So, I've done thousands of things in this earth already. Sometimes I don't appreciate this. Oh, wait, maybe I've already done that before. And that guidance is like, oh, yeah, you did in this lifetime, in this century. And so being on this earth is this is a huge playground, a great learning place, and to really appreciate how incredibly awesome it is.
The earth as a playground is a concept I never considered until, a couple of years back. And being able to see it that way and look for these new experiences and ride all the new rides and play with all the new toys and go back to your roots and flop around in the mud. It's all from a sense of being, what is it you call it, on your pivot? I don't want to call it a comfort zone because that's not what it is. It's your spiritual zone, I guess, your connected zone. You're back where you're supposed to be, yeah?
Yeah, it's really your center or your foundation. When I return to the concept that I am a spirit inhabiting a body, then all things have a clear perspective, and from that point, I'm all powerful. I have everything I need. So from that standpoint, how could I be afraid or be resistant to all the experiences life is offering me?
And there are a lot of them out there. Just kind of look around and grab it and run with it, yeah?
Yeah, I can't. I just, sometimes the list of things I want to do or experiences, places I want to go, people I want to meet, just all kinds of stuff like that. Taking a walk, build something, I don't know, paint a picture. I just have so many things I want to do. And I see some people who appear to be doing very little, as in being involved in the earth. They're kind of just hanging around watching reruns on TV or something. And I think, gosh, I don't know what it would be like to just not be driven to experience new things. I don't think I'd like that very much because I just enjoy new encounters with whatever comes along.
I hear you. I agree with you. I do want to interject here that what one person's path looks like from your perspective, and I mean you, not you, Alma, but you, everybody, is not what's really going on in their path, on their path.
Oh, that's so true. And I didn't mean to imply any other things.
I knew that. You know? I knew that. But I just wanted to make it clear to anybody who misunderstood or misinterpreted.
Right.
Everyone's path is their path, and it's right for them. And if they seem to be struggling, well, that's okay. That's part of their path. If they seem to be making the same mistakes over and over again that you see from your perspective, well, that's okay too, because that's how we learn these things. One of the things that I have run into many, many times is that when you keep making the same, I'm going to call it a mistake, or making the same judgment call, or whatever you want to look at it as, it's you not quite getting the lesson, and you're going to keep running into it again and again because that's the way the universe does, until you get it. And so what I do with this guidance thing that Alma and I are talking about now is we, the group of us, when I finally get it through my thick head that I'm not seeing the lesson, I stop and ask, okay, I've done it again. I'm obviously not seeing something. Please show it to me so that I get it. And what happens because of that is that the lesson becomes clear. My understanding of what I'm misreading becomes a tangible thing. And I can stop doing whatever it is I'm doing that's messing stuff up for me. Does that make sense?
Oh, it does. And the other thing I think that happens is sometimes I have an experience and I'll laugh. I go, oh, wow, it's that one again. And I go, oh, remember 10 years ago I would have been livid. And now look how well I can just flow through this and it doesn't own me anymore. And to me, sometimes I'm giving these experiences again to show me, so that I can appreciate how far I've come with that, how much healing I've had in that experience.
You know, and now that you mention it, that has happened to me as well. Something would come up that would have me storming around the house, ripping things apart and knocking down walls, and I just kind of look at it and go, okay, not a problem.
Right.
And I like
even
it
laugh
better
and enjoy
than
it
the way it used to be.
Yes.
Well, tell us a little bit more about the Leadership College, if you would, please. I don't know that everybody's familiar with it. I wasn't until I met you. And tell us a little bit about what it does and how it works and all that stuff.
The Americana Leadership College was created back in the 60s by a man named Dr. Francisco Cole, and it's been going on ever since. The main thrust is that we introduce people to their guides and angels and teach them a two-way communication. We have a basic consultation or profile that we do. It takes about an hour, and we tell you how many angels you have, and we teach you a system for communicating. We also talk about your sensitivity to the universe, how you receive or communicate on a more of a psychic or spiritual level. And that, like I said, it takes about an hour and helps you to get the basic facts of who you are and what you're doing here and what you're working with. And then there's thousands of these types of profiles, courses, classes, all kinds of things that you can interact with through the Americana Leadership College. If you want to know more about them, you can go to alcworld.com and read all about it. One of the other things I've been working with lately is, besides I can do this profile with you if anyone's interested with the angel profile, and then the other one I've been working with a lot is your spiritual life thrust. And that tells you about the team of angels, what they came to work with you with, and also gives you a mantra to use. It's called Your Life Thrust, and it's a mantra that explains your essence in the universe. So that
Let me interrupt you here, Alma. Would you explain for those of our listeners who aren't familiar with the word mantra what that is?
A mantra to me would be a short phrase or affirmation that would convey a certain message. I might use a mantra if I was in a situation where, if I wanted to change a thought, I might use a mantra. As in, I used to think I was alone, so I used a mantra for a while that was, I am never alone, I am never alone, I am never alone, or God is always with me, God is always with me. Those types of things to help us reprogram some of our thoughts. In this case, I'm referring to a mantra of, like, it's kind of your theme here on the earth. And so when questioning what you're doing in your life purpose, remember this is the effect or the essence of the universe that you are. My personal life thrust is strength with purpose drives me forward. And if you've ever met me, you would know that is such a good explanation of me on this earth. I'm a driving force. You give me a task, and I will be accomplishing it.
In the write-up that you sent to me prior to the show, one of the things that you said about this year that I found really relative, and I would love for you to talk more about it, is that this is the year we discover that there's no such thing as being spiritual. We find ourselves being more than working, trying, searching. Would you please address that a little bit more, because I think that's extremely important.
My guidance is covering me in chills that you brought this up.
Well, I asked them to.
Well, isn't that an interesting idea? We are spirits. We've always been spirits. We're on this earth. And there has been and there will always be certain themes or energies running through the earth at any given time. I'm sure that many of the people listening to this program, this is not the first program they've listened to probably about spiritual matters or the first thing they've heard. Many people that I have talked with have talked about last year, 2014, being the roller coaster of, oh my gosh, what a year. New jobs, new experiences. You just didn't know from one day to the next what was going to happen. And it seemed a bit overwhelming. And then coming into 2015, things have just like rolled out like a smooth, calm pond almost in comparison to what we experienced last year. Mm-hmm. But what we're going to be seeing coming up in this future, and spiritualism, let's say that this is spiritualism, or the idea that you are a spirit, is in no way a religion or a thought that contradicts anything else you might do. Say that you have a Catholic faith or you're of the Jewish faith. It makes no difference. In the aspect of your true essence, the fact that you're a soul and a spirit is common to all of us. And the idea of your connection to the universe, your personal connection, your personal being of the universe, is to enhance your faith, not to replace your faith. So I don't want anyone to think that we're saying, oh, don't be what you are, or don't believe what you believe. We're saying take this idea that you're a spirit, that you have these angels, and use it to enhance what you're already doing. So going in to 2015 and through 2015, you're going to see more people working less, trying less, striving less to, quote, be spiritual, to be perfect, to be anything. They're going to quit fighting for this and realize that this is who we are naturally. We're going to become more aware of our natural state of being. And so I think this is going to be a profound year as we move through this. You're going to see people relaxing. You're going to see events coming without a lot of reactionary type energy. In fact, I really think we're going to start to see where the news companies and so forth and the news of the world isn't going to get everyone as riled up as it used to. We're going to kind of go, oh, really, this is a natural progression. This is a natural, history repeats itself. Here we go again. But this time we're going to see the big picture, the actual cosmic picture of how this is unfolding, and it's all perfect in its right time.
I relish that thought. I'm chuckling as you're saying all of this because in a meditation that I did with my guidance just a few days ago, actually, I guess it's more like a week, I asked them, what's going on? Why am I not getting anywhere? And they just outright laughed at me. And I demanded to know what was so funny, and they said, just calm down and let it happen. You're trying too hard. And I said, what? Am I not supposed to be pushing and working and struggling and fighting and learning and all this kind of stuff that we think we have to do? And they said, no. And I said, all right, then what am I supposed to be doing? And one of the things that guidance will do to you, especially if you teach anything, is they will take your own words and smack you upside the head with them. And this is a good thing, actually. And they said, do you remember when you tell your students just allow, don't ask how? And I said, yes. And they said, well, that's what you need to be doing. Stop working. Stop trying. Stop pushing. And one of the songs I've written is Don't Push the River. They say you're pushing your own river. Stop it. And when they said that, it all became clear to me that, yeah, I was just knocking myself out and not getting anywhere. And so I just, what you just said, I just let go of everything and said, okay, you drive the bus. I'm not in charge anymore. Just tell me what to do next, and I'll be sitting here waiting for you to do it. And it's working pretty well.
Yeah, you had said something earlier, like we were talking about having experiences where, 5 or 10 years ago would have just, sent us through the roof or had us worrying or getting ourselves sick. And now we just go, wow, isn't that interesting? Oh, cool, I've been here before. So we're already predicting that. And people that are spiritually awake now are ones who are the precursors going forward. We're the ones who feel the energy coming in first. So here we are. We're both testifying. We're feeling this. So we're confirming that that's where we're going. And that it'll come to the masses behind this initial wave. So the people that are awake and awakening right now, who are working with the universe's energies and have a clear purpose and direction, they're already feeling this like, oh, wow, this is easy. Wow, why didn't I just step back and let the universe do its thing 20 years ago? So you're going to see more and more of that as we move through, and we're testifying. That's what we're saying right here is we are already feeling it.
Mm-hmm. And I'm getting it from a lot of my guests on the show, and my longtime listeners know this. They see the pattern because it keeps coming up and coming up. And what I have discerned from all of this, and what I've been told by guidance and other people have agreed with me, things are along these lines are starting to come faster than they did before because of this allowing, yeah?
Oh, I know I can say that in my own life that I have a thought within, seconds it manifests. I'm like, whoa, I was not expecting that quite that fast. So it is like, I don't know, it feels like we're just like a speeding bullet. And as souls, we move faster than the speed of light. So, why am I surprised?
Mm-hmm. That's good to know, because when things seem to not be going your way, if you can sit back and say, well, and one of my favorite expressions is to my highest good and best outcome, and that's kind of what I tack on to the end of everything, because I'm not really sure what that is. My angels know. My guidance knows. I don't have to know. All I have to do is trust them that that's where they're taking me and allow that flow to occur. And I think that's the sum and substance of it all. Do you agree?
Yeah, so I would say that you do know. On your soul level, you're completely aware of all of that. It's our physical mind that can't wrap around some of this stuff, and, why worry? It all comes out good in the end.
Our physicality doesn't have to know. because of the
That's right.
And so if we can let go of that on a physical level and just let guidance in the universe and the flow of energy work its I'm going to say magic, create its path and do what's best for everybody, I think we'll all be okay if we can just allow ourselves to be okay.
Yeah. Just breathe.
Alma, it has been awesome talking with you. I'm so glad I finally got you on the show. Trying to get our ends to meet or at least wave at one another has been a challenge for both of us, but we managed it. And before I let you go, I want to ask you, how can people get in touch with you? Do you have anything going on you want to tell them about? Just here's your shameless self-promotion moment.
Oh, wow. Well, I got a lot of things going on. One of my goals was to travel about the United States doing lectures and courses and teaching others how to communicate with their guidance, and I have been achieving that, and so I'm excited about that. I'm about to launch some webinars and be working with that on a regular basis. I'm excited. Growth. In the meantime, we can set up an appointment for anyone who would like to start working with their angels, learn to communicate with them, and work with their personal sensitivity. And in that alone, or in combination with your life thrust, we can get you hooked up with what your essence is and what you're doing here on Earth. So if you would like either one of those or both of those profiles, just hit me up. The easiest way, let's be simple. Hit me up on Facebook. It's Alma, A-L-M-A, Phillips. Or on Elements of Light on Facebook, you can find me, or you can text me, 757-329-8645. And we'll set up an appointment. We'll get you hooked up. We can do this remotely. And I look forward to just jump-starting anyone who wants to really take a serious step towards their spiritual expansion. Never has there been a better time. You'll find yourself more confident. Yeah, actually. Right now you can get both of those profiles for $150 when you tell me that Chessie, you heard me on Chessie. And so normally that's about $190. So use the angel. Go ahead.
I was going to say, having taken some of her tests and profiles and stuff, and having seen her present these classes, I heartily recommend it to anybody who's interested, because she is a dynamic speaker. You'll get a lot out of it. And the cool thing is you don't just sit there and learn, you get to laugh too. And the profiles are just amazingly accurate.
Yes, in fact, we need to set up your thrust profile appointment so that we can get that for you, Chessie. Can never have too much information or experience in who we really are, right? So I would love to do that with you whenever you get a chance.
That is true. Alma, I'm going to have to wrap with you, but don't hang up. I'll talk to you on at the end of the show on the backside. And I want to thank all of my listeners for joining me for the show. If you'd like to send in a question or a suggestion for a topic that you'd like for me to cover on the show, please send your question, your suggestion, or your request to me at Chessie at ChessieRoberts.com. You can find all of my information at ChessieRoberts.com, all of my classes and programs and everything that I offer. My music that I have written and performed with my husband is at archersmeadow.com. You've heard some of that at the beginning and the end of the show. And you can find my book on Amazon.com. So thank you all for listening, and come back anytime to hear Get on the Grid with Chessie Roberts. Have a great week, bright blessings, and have a great day. Bye.